One not so great thing, or not great at all, thing to talk about. It keeps coming up, Rob. There's news, breaking about it every day. So we do address it. But this Deshaun Watson situation still won't, there's still stuff coming out. We had Amy Dash, the legal analyst for Fox Sports Radio, on with us yesterday after the prosecuting lawyer, Tony Busby, and his plaintiffs came out, and one of them talked. One of them had a statement read. Ashley Solis, who was actually the first woman to file the lawsuit, Rob, and the story is that she and Busby went to Deshaun Watson and his team, I guess lawyers, and tried to get $100,000 so for her not to go forth, and they were rejected, and so now they came out publicly, and once they came out, Rob, that's when the avalanche began, and more women began coming out and saying, this happened to me too. Again, Deshaun Watson is innocent until proven guilty.
Nope, yep.
But
we've been saying it.
Yep. That has not stopped. And more of it came today. Nike suspended its endorsement deal with Deshaun Watson, and sources have told ESPN that Beats by Dre is ending its sponsorship of Deshaun Watson.
And there's some other local businesses, Chris, too, that say that they're
Reliant Energy, which they said it was scheduled to end this spring, and that they have no plans. This is a quote: "No plans for future engagement or contracts with him." There's a supermarket chain, HEB, same deal. They don't plan on doing anything with him in the future. So he's feeling it. I actually think, I guess these other companies, of course, your deal's about to end, fine. I think Nike's doing it the right way, Rob. They're suspending it. And if it's proven that he's innocent and this stuff was made up or a money grab, then he'll be fine. Beats by Dre, though, isn't even going there. They're just ending it. At least I
don't have an issue, Chris, with companies that just say we'd rather not, because of what could be really messy and what's coming forward. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I get it. I remember. Do you remember the Marv Albert, when Marv Albert had his issue?
Yep.
With that woman and the whole situation? And Chris, I remember very vividly. Marv said that he would not. He's the NBA announcer on TNT. He was
the Mike Breen.
Yeah, he was the NBA's voice on NBC. Right. Marv Albert, a great guy and all that. Great I know broadcast. Marv, and I traveled with him when I covered the Knicks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he got in the hot water. And I remember, Chris, he said that he wouldn't cop a plea, that he was innocent. And he wouldn't cop a plea.
When it first came out, that's what he said.
Okay.
Because it was all types of stuff coming out.
And NBC said that they would not fire him, or you know what I mean, or whatever, as long as he doesn't cop a plea. And guess what? Marv got to court and copped a plea. NBC fired him on the spot when he copped a plea. And I'm just saying,
was that after all? It was all types of stuff coming out.
Yeah, it was just. And my point was that they stood by him in the beginning when he said he was going to fight, that he was innocent. But they said, if you cop a plea, that's it.
Right.
And in this case, if a company just doesn't want to be attached to it, the salacious stuff, Chris, that's coming out and all the connections, I can't blame a company if they just don't want. We don't want to be attached to that. It's just This ain't just one situation and some girlfriend is. Ex-girlfriend Chris has her feelings or got hurt or feels scorned. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is bigger than that. There's something here.
Is way bigger than that. And we had, as I said, Amy Dash on yesterday, Rob, and she talked about how this looks like Busby is pushing toward, subtly, but pushing toward sex trafficking. And I had not seen, she mentioned a lawyer that spoke yesterday.
You saw it on Twitter, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw it today. She posted it, and I saw it today. I had not seen that comment from that lawyer. African-American woman at the time we interviewed Amy. But yeah, once you see that, you will agree with Amy Dash that it looks like they're going to something much bigger than perhaps these civil suits.
Right. And now, Chris, when you think about, I said this before, there's reasons why people settle. Okay?
Right.
Even
Right.
if you think, I didn't do this, but I don't want to go through all of this and have all this stuff dug up, ruin what it's going to cost me as far as, Chris, a lawyer, right? What it's going to cost me for, this guy Harden is a big-time attorney in Houston,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay? He's charging an arm and a leg. I don't even have to see the figures. I know it.
Right.
And then you start to lose endorsements and you start to lose money. Nobody wants you to come to speaking engagements. All kinds of
You
stuff.
might lose your contract.
Right, but follows that. I mean, it's huge. And I'm not saying he's guilty. But sometimes you wonder why people are willing to make a settlement for it to go away. This is Exhibit A, Chris, on why sometimes you need to settle.
Yeah, and look, when you settle, people do in most cases they presume you did it, right? That you were guilty. When you see somebody settle, you usually think, oh, they must have done it, And I think in most cases that's probably true. But there might be some cases where you just don't want other stuff to come out that might come out, and you still didn't do it. You know what I mean? But you just know what could come out from it. And so you settle. Either way, you're better off than a lot of what's going on now. And we've seen Mike Florio, who was a lawyer before he started covering the NFL, Pro Football Talk.
Right.
He said if he were advising Watson, he would tell
That's
him to
what he
plead
said. How
no
many
matter
weeks ago
what.
was that? How many weeks ago was that, Chris? He
Right,
said it.
Close to it, maybe a month ago. Yeah. And he said no matter what, guilty, innocent, plead. And that's what Amy Dash told us yesterday. That's the advice she said she would give him as well. Plead out. There's no doubt, Rob, $100,000 to him is nothing. And he would have been able to avoid all this. Now, I mean, maybe somebody else would have come forward, but I don't know. I'll say this, and like you said, we don't know what the truth is. Hopefully we find out.
We don't
the truth.
know. That's not.
But
we're
I'll tell
not
you
lawyers.
what.
We're not judges.
Right.
We don't know. I haven't seen a shred of evidence. All I know is there's a long line of people with a similar story about what took place. That's all I know.
And if you saw Ashley Solis yesterday, Solis is how you pronounce it. Ashley Solis. Rob, I mean, she was convincing. She was crying. And, I mean, she is a tremendous actor if she's making all this up.
She should get an Academy Award, Chris, if that's a made-up job.
If that's made up, that was impressive. And so this is just rough, man. It's interesting because now there's a lot of ways for Deshaun. I mean, he's got a lot of things to protect now: his image, his career, his money. The interesting thing is the best way, perhaps, for his money to be protected is if he's put on the commissioner's exempt list. He won't be able to play, but he'll get paid. He'll get paid. And so this thing is definitely...
Boy, did this thing take a turn. I mean, am I right? I mean, can you believe where we are?
It's very hard to believe, man, because like we all say, I mean, from Clemson on, not just since he got to Houston, Rob, from Clemson on, Deshaun Watson has been just viewed as a guy with an incredible amount of character. And even when he came out after this was first came public and said, I've never in my life disrespected a woman, treated a woman disrespectfully, however he said it. I was like, you know what? I tend to believe him. I mean, you can't discount what women say, but it was like, you know what? I mean, that's a strong statement. And his character is great. At least that's what the image was. But man, it's just a bad situation all the way around. And when you think about what these women have gone through, and I'll say to any men that, Rob, because some dudes out there, like, you think it's boys being boys or whatever.
Chris, there are bad. Let me tell you something. There are bad guys out there who do bad things to women. You know it. I know it. It's hard to be a woman. I mean, it's hard to be a woman, and it goes on, and guys, sometimes take advantage of situations.
Yep.
I don't know. We know it. We've been around. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen the way some people act.
Do.
Man, we do.
We do. I mean, we've been in locker rooms.
Yes.
We've been around guys.
We've been around these guys, man.
Let's not be naive. We know what men talk about. Not all men, but we know it. And
hey, Chris, real quick, Busby's charged. The other lawyer, we don't know what Harden's rate is, but the other guy, Busby, charges $1,200 an hour.
Gosh.
So
I bet Harden's is more.
Harden is bigger than that.
Right. But Rob, again, I mean, I would never do something like that. But having daughters just drives it home even more. Because you think about your daughter in a situation, she's excited to have a job and do it. Oh, wow, I got, it's a big job. And then you're faced with that. You know what I mean? Like You're presented with that. And the thing is, for a woman, like a man, if a woman came on to a man, she's not going to overpower you. You know what I mean? Like in most cases, I mean, so you it's really not that much of a threat. It's not a threat at all in most cases, really. It's just no. Or, she can't physically overpower you. In most cases for a woman, there is not only the behavior that you didn't want to have to deal with, that you're appalled by, you're disgusted by, or whatever, but physically, a man can usually overpower you. You know what I'm saying? So that brings a whole nother level to it, Rob, of fear. Right. And so I hope these women, I hate that they would come forth and say something like this if this is fabricated. But I hate to think of women going through something like that.
Too many, Chris, for me to believe that. Wow, to line up 22 women, there's just too many.
It's just so many masseuses. It's just like, my goodness. But all right, 877-99 on Fox. Tough thing to talk about. 877-996-6369, but it is in the world of sports. Your turn to weigh in. What do you think? Should Deshaun Watson have just copped a plea? Just paid off Ashley Solis $100,000, reportedly is what she wanted, and saved himself all of this. But to be honest, I'm just going to say that you have your answer. Call us up, 877-99 on Fox, and tell us if this is true, though, it's good that it's coming out.
And if Chris, it's true. There's some people who would never cop a plea if they weren't, guilty. You know what I mean? There are people who say, I'm not going to cop a plea, but you also have to look at the flip side.
If you were accused of this, think how much, and you didn't do it. I mean, that's hard to cop a plea to that.
But okay, how about this? You did it, or you know what I mean, and you're playing this thinking you're going to strong arm her, the first woman, because you got a bigger lawyer. Do you know what I mean? And you think you're gonna, and then you don't. That's what I'm saying. Like
athletes are, you're in a world where you get away with. Not saying Deshaun did this, but you get away with a ton. You get whatever whatever you wanted in a lot of cases. I'm not just talking about women, but just in everything. And so you can develop that type of mentality that, man, can't nothing touch me. Should Deshaun Watson have just played out, guilty or not? Your thoughts?
All right, let's start with James in Chicago. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, James?
Hey guys, I love you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Man, y'all are the best. Okay, look here. I got this one main point to make, and I'm not understanding why no one's paying attention to this. you have 21 people accusing this man of certain of a bunch of offenses.
Right.
And when you get
22.
the sexual
It's
assault,
22 now, James. It's 22.
21.
okay, listen. When you get the sexual assault, and they have presented something to the police department, why has no criminal assault? Why has no criminal charges been charged against him, and he's arrested? I can go with the Kevin Winslow Jr. You know, say anything. It was so many women there, he got immediately arrested. It really sounds fabricated. I hate to say that because I don't want to take nothing away from the women. I don't want to take nothing from the women.
James, because these weren't originally criminal charges, they're civil cases.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, hold up. No.
Well, supposedly they're looking at evidence. We'll see.
No, listen, the Winslow thing, there were criminal charges. He got busted raping women. That's what he mean.
Okay,
not Ali. OJ.
He forced women.
OJ Simpson. James. OJ Simpson lost his civil case.
Yes.
And didn't go to jail. Well, not for that. He
lost a civil case. You can lose a civil case. The burden of proof is less in a civil case.
And they don't have, I mean, unless they got cameras somewhere. You know, a big part of this, Rob, is he said, she said. Now, she's saying a lot.
It's how believable you are and how many. Right. There's other stuff. And, Chris, you don't know all the stuff. Do you have all the texts? Did he apologize? Did he admit at all that he was maybe too aggressive and I didn't mean to do that and I'm sorry if you know what I mean? Like, if you have that, then you would be acknowledging that something went down that she wasn't happy with. That's all.
Right.
All right. Let's and James, we appreciate your support. Marty in Kentucky, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marty?
What's up, fellas? I'm sorry I got disconnected with you yesterday.
That's all right, bro. It happens.
Yep.
Yeah. I was mowing my lawn, running into a little trouble, but everything's good now. This Deshaun Watson case, man. I have a friend at work, my buddy Kane, and we dispute about this subject all the time. Because he's a huge Kobe Bryant fan. You know, he even thinks Kobe's the GOAT. And I think it's MJ, but I love Kobe. And he always tells me, man, if I was Kobe, I'd never plead out. I would fight that to the end. If I was innocent, I would fight it to the end. And I'd tell him, I was like, man, you got to put yourself in his shoes. What he's worth, what he makes every day, what his brand is worth.
And Marty, let me say this too, what people don't understand. There can be rumors about what went down and hearsay. When you go into a court of law and it's on the record, some of the stuff, I don't think you want that on the record. You know what I mean? That sworn testimony.
Because everybody's heard about it.
Right.
And you can't avoid it. I've been a jury foreman in the civil case, and I believe we had to only have 9 out of 12 to come to a conclusion where, you know, in the court of law, where it's not civil, I think it has to be, the whole jury has to agree. But
unanimous, right?
Yeah, unanimous. And as long they lose so much money the longer it's in the media. And I tell my buddies, like, it's you see these guys plead so quickly because it just makes sense. You plead whether you're guilty or innocent. I'm not saying, I'm not calling anybody guilty or innocent.
Right.
I'm going to let the court decide that. But whether you're guilty or innocent, if you look at the numbers, you're losing so much money as long as this is killing your brand. It just makes sense to plead.
Yep, because it's out there every day. And every day, Chris, some people never heard of it. They heard of it now. You know what I mean? The longer it's out there.
Oh, yeah. No, this has become really big. No doubt.